Dyson V10, once Dyson's flagship cordless vacuum cleaner, now literal e-waste. This one is very close. It runs barely, we'll sort that out in a minute. But its main issue, and the reason for the majority of today's video, is it has a dead head. I am going to guess right here and now there is a broken wire, and we shall have a look and see if we can fix it. What we shall also have a look at are these Tozo NC20 AI enhanced wireless earbuds, which were sent to us by Tozo to have a look at. And I've already had them out. I've already given them a fair bit of use over the last couple of days, and they're really good. So we'll have a look at all of this and try and fix the junk and see if we can get it running once more. Let's have a look. Yes, hello, my vacuum cleaner and Dyson chums. How are you today? This isn't this machine's first rodeo, I note. I thought these were really good with their batteries for years, but I had to do one the other week for somebody and I started to see them more and more. Good old Dyson. They must be coming to the end of their planned obsolescence, which is what has happened to this head. And we focused a lot on the machine on this channel before, but we've never actually stripped down one of these heads. And this is the same for all of this style of head. V7, V8, I think even the later V6s had this style of head. And yeah, we're going to strip it all down, put that aside for later, and see if I am right. So, brush roll out, turn this little half clip, and take out our base plate. We have a load of fluff packed around the back of the brush roll, as you always do. We shall get to that very well later. First, we'll take ourselves a T8 Torx and undo the 3 screws on the front. Be careful to not strip them out because I've done that before as well. There we go. 3 on the front, the 2 either side of the rear, and then the 2 just in here by the pivot. Undo all of these screws, and the head should pretty much fall apart as good as it can. Oh, one more, the most important one. Buried, you see that little cutout that's just for your drill bit? Oh, I've got to look at it, sorry. Yeah. There it is, buried in here, a little tiny, very small, and can sometimes be very rusty, little Torx there. So now we should be able to lift this part off. Ooh. You've got to figure out which is broken in our head, because this isn't actually as broken as I feared. But looking at a lot of this, I think somebody's been in here before, and it wouldn't surprise me if there was a broken wire. I can tell you exactly how I'm sure it's the head, because I have another head here. This is broken, but it runs absolutely fine. So it's either isn't the loom or it's the motor. I'm not entirely sure, but in theory we can cheat massively, because if we can't fix this head, we'll just build this pivot onto this head instead and have the same amount of fun. But we'll carry on because we need to troubleshoot a little bit and at least make sure that our wiring isn't the problem. So I'm just pushing these last 2 screws out here so that I don't lose them. Then, yeah, untuck all the wires and lift up this part here. And go a little bit further as well. This bit comes off here, and this is now how you wash this. So we'll do, I think, if and when we fix our motor. So, this is pretty much impossible to test as it is. I've got to make a little nick in the wires in order to check their continuity, because it's not going to be too uncommon for the motor to fail as well. In fact, if I just push this in, maybe I can get to the terminals. You've got to be a bit careful though, pulling these motors apart, because they don't always like it. Yeah, there we go. Just feed that through there. So that's the back of our motor. I can, in theory, get a multimeter on there and see if we have a break in our wire or if it is the motor. Well, I've got a bit further and pulled the red wire off of the motor because I was getting inconsistent readings, and yeah, I get nothing at all. The black wire has continuity, but not the red. So we're going to pretty much just leave that as it is for now and strip down. Oh yeah, this is when I was fixing the car. Video coming up, or being done on that with another sponsored product. Right, so let us strip the pivot down and see how far we get. Wheels off, and if you, oh dear, wheels off, and the screws for the pivot are very, very loose. Have I been here before? Who knows? Right, so that's how you replace your wheels if they're scrap. We can then finish off undoing these longer screws, which protect the pivot. Then underneath there is one underneath this label here somewhere. I'm trying not to destroy the entire thing, but I just want to punch through it to get to the screw. Oh, there it is. Tons of dust. Right, and then in theory our pivot should start to come apart. Immediately I can see that it is the red wire. It is broken. So if you have a white wire, so literally this head here, it's normally this white wire that goes there. However, yeah, in this example, the whole wire has just snapped fully, which isn't the end of the world. It's just going to be a fair bit fiddly to take apart. So we shall pull this bit of the wire out of here. All the gunk that gets up into there, and there we go. Then we can pop this through. We've got to try and this is just manky. Got to try and keep it in the order because you cannot put the wires through this without it being through all of the plastic. So we'll leave that up there. The wires then bend around here. So there's our red wire. We shall release our black wire, and then that can go over there. Then it's another torque screw here. Remove this back clip. Then this front part, if I can get my fingers behind it, also pops off. And then you can see where the red wire goes. Now, I'm going to fix this. That's a little bit bodgily. We're going to splice a new wire in from there and run it pretty much down to probably here, because we cannot go through this rubber part here. That is impossible. It's always nice when it does go here because you can do more about it. Or cannot there? Yeah. Trying to see if I could be smart and put on the wire, but I can't. So yeah, you have to let a new bit of cable in, but you don't want the joint to go straight back where this was because it obviously failed somehow. So yeah, we've got to try and do a very tiny little solder joint somewhere after this kink so that I can put it into that gap there and hide it all. Let me get set up for this. Right, let us make some repairs. So we can chop this about here, and then I'm going to chop this about here. This is always a bit of a gamble. Then we need to figure out how to replace that wire. And I bought myself a box of this generic, very cheap, but thin and looking correct wire. This is only low voltage, not high voltage, which is fine for these 20 volt machines. And yeah, we'll take a spool of this. I shall make it roughly the same length because you don't really have anywhere to put the extra. And then we'll just cut it enough so that I can strip the end and solder it. So there's that. This nice thing about the silicone wire is that you can just pull the ends off with your fingers. Fantastic stuff. I should probably get some different lengths. Right. I'm also going to cheat massively. Proper electricians look away now because this joint is going to be fine, isolated, all on its own anyway. So we're not even going to put any heat shrink around it. This joint needs to be as small as possible. So I shall twist the wires together like so. Then take my preheated soldering iron, which is just there. Find some solder and yeah, just solder up that wire. Doing this over the years, it has given me soldering practice with Shark, you sort of have to solder the wires, otherwise you can't get the damn thing apart. Right, so there's that end. We shall do this end, so strip this wire, a bit more than that. There we go. Pop this into here, and now just begins the fiddly old task of feeding all the wire back through everywhere it needs to go, which I sort of start to do and then show you my progress. Okay, so I've pushed the pivot back together. I can't pivot it too much because it's not together at all really, and plugged the wire back in, because at this point we want to test it to make sure that it has actually worked. So I'll plug this in, and in theory, yeah, the motor does spin. So that's good. I can now reassemble the pivot and we can carry on with the vacuum cleaner. But first, let us take a look at these NC20s. I have already unboxed them. They came the other day because I wanted to get them all set up, checked out and used. And it's quite a nice little package really. You get a quick start guide. It's a small user manual, but it really does cover everything. A pair of earbuds. It doesn't need to be a massive leather-bound volume. And then you get the earbuds themselves. A little tiny USB-C cable, which I'll be honest, I haven't used. It just gets plugged into my desk charger and works fine. A full assortment of different size earbuds, which I've already swapped over. It came with a large. I wanted one size up. And then we have the earbuds themselves in a nice little charging case, like so. You open it up, and yeah, look, they're at 72% because these spent 5.5 hours today on a Teams call. They worked very well on my Windows 11 work laptop and Microsoft Teams. So yeah, take them out, put them in, oh, falling out my ears, put them in, and yeah, they're already auto-connecting to my phone, which I'm hoping it isn't messing up the audio. And yeah, they are very, very nice. The app is very good as well. And the app is really where these earbuds shine. As you can see from my ear tune score, my ears are broken. Very, very broken. And these headphones do a good job of trying to fix those. We have many active noise cancellation modes. I'm in transparency mode at the minute, and I can hear that Dyson absolutely fine. The best one seems to be leisure mode. Leisure mode is a really hard noise cancellation. And I can barely hear that at all. Wind noise is quite good as well. And they all just work very well. We have an EQ setting. I've not messed with that too much. We have a sound mode. I've not messed with that too much. There's also lots of other things it can do using various AI software type things. And yeah, obviously my Tozo, you can go and do all sorts of things. You can set the location as well, which I haven't done because I'll dox myself. But yeah, the app is incredibly good. I do like it. There's so much you can do with it. You know, wear detection, dual device. So I have this paired to this phone and my work laptop, and as long as I didn't play music on my phone, it worked fine. Did a nice over-the-air update as well. So I'm now using the latest firmware version. And I think for this scene, I'm now using the audio from these earbuds. I just found a setting in my phone. And apologies for the first half of this video. I knocked my phone into 1080p mode to do something else and completely flipping forgot. So these first few scenes weren't in glorious 4K. I do apologise. So yes, thank you very much, Tozo, for sending these over. I am going to absolutely batter them because I have hours worth of Teams calls every week. I'm in the office tomorrow, so I'm going to play music all day and put them through their paces. There should be a link down below to where you can purchase yourself a set, and I will keep you updated. I mean, I don't even know if this seems going to be any good with this audio yet, but it's probably going to be okay. So we have ourselves some new headphones. We have ourselves a repaired Dyson. But as we come to this bit, this poor V10 does have Dysonitis. Empty that before I started doing this. Oh, if you pull on the inside of the filter, carefully work your way around, you can release little clips that go all around the inside and hold this bit onto here, and the whole thing needs washing. So I'm probably going to find a replacement filter for the customer. But this bit is the main one. That is solid. You want to get that really washed and scrubbed. You might come back to it later on in the video, but for now I've got spare. I'm just going to, you keep spare filters, you can just recycle them, and you don't need to buy a ton more. Oh, I suppose I'll best empty this quickly. And then we can airline it out, because the state of this thing, if you do this and your Dyson is just vomiting out no end, oh my gosh, that just came out from the inside of it. Your Dyson is vomiting out stuff and bits of paper. That is your problem. So we are going to go just half a step further, and I'm going to split the back from the front, which is these 4 screws here, those 2 screws there, and probably take the battery off, but I'm not going to. And then we can give this a good airline out. A couple of days later, we find ourselves staring at a pile of much cleaner Dyson parts. I gave the bin a bit of a wash because this bit was filthy, and this bit's a bit bent as well. And what I've figured out with Dyson cordlesses in general, if I can get this in there, is that where this bit seals around here, if that bit's filthy, it struggles to suck the dirt up. So that all needs to be quite clean, because that forms part of the air path. And that was that, really. I just washed the bin because it was dirty. Let's put it here next to this V11 that just came in with a broken trigger. Maybe I should do a trigger change video. It's probably been a while since we've done one of those. So let's put it there next to its broken brother, which, yeah, doesn't sit properly. And then we can carry on with this, which is all washed, all dried, and, in theory, ready to put back together, because we did this bit on its own. We should be fine. So, got to push the wires in, but also make sure that they're not twisted, because that will bite you in the bum further down the line. So there we go. Twist that over, and you've got to start with these 2 cables tucked properly into there, because this bit is then the part that slides and clicks into here. He says, struggling to do it. There we go. So that sits in there like that, with the wires going through their little gap just behind it, like so. Then we need to click this into here, which shouldn't be too hard. There we go. So that sits on there and starts to pivot, and then you can slide the top down. And this is what clamps this into place, this whole top joint there. Make sure that your rubber gasket isn't poking out anywhere. Make sure your wires are coming through, and then we'll put the front 3 screws in to hold it all together. We can pick it up a little bit now that the back is in, and fold our wires back on themselves and start to put them into their little channel. Something a little bit like this, although I had to extend the wires. I put them in there too far. Now I've got too much on here, but I think this will still go over and clamp down. This bit is a pain. This tab here, I mean, you could just rip it off and I'm going to try not to, although I have done it before. There we go. But it sits under there like so. But I click it in actually. One more note. This is how the wire loops around. This is what happens when it twists. It literally rolls around inside of here. So I'm going to actually put it like that to take the slack up. And then, then put this, oh, there you go. Put this back in. Very fiddly because you have to seat the screw cap as well, which is why, again, I have ripped this little tab off in the past and it's been absolutely fine. You went in, bang on. Why are you now being a wally? Ah. Yeah, there we go. Not really a great way to show you it, but once it's in and clips down, it'll fit. Just got to pop, there we go, pop that plastic in there. These bits sit inside of the wings, and I'm hoping that I can just, there we go, put that in there, turn it upside down, and put its 3 rear screws in. Ah, oh no, my Tozo fell out. My ears are different sizes. It's been doing that all day. I need to go back through the earbuds and find a bigger size for that ear. But eventually we shall get this back together. Eventually we'll have it all back together. We can turn it over and pop our base plate back on. Do a quarter turn like so. Come on, get in the slot. There we go. Then our brush roll will slide over the top and go into place. And hopefully that is one fully rebuilt head. Let me just grab the filter for the vacuum. I'm going to say lie down. I don't think this is a genuine Dyson filter. Now it's all washed. This feels very much pattern part, but hopefully, yeah. Oh, I just killed it. Ah, now I've got to go put it on charge because, oh no, but the battery's dying. Will you work long enough? Yeah. For us to check that the head works. You will. So I need to pop that on charge for the customer. But essentially, that is this Dyson V10 fit for use once more. That is how to fix the broken wire on the head. It's not fun. I wouldn't say it's not easy. It is quite easy. It's just fiddly. But once you've done enough of them, you get the gist. And yeah, that would have been scrapped for that. And now it works well. Nice, clean, of-arm machine. Yeah, this is, there we go. That's not me that's making that seal odd. It's, there we go. It needs to sit around there. Marvellous. One fixed Dyson. So, have you ever taken the floor head of your Dyson apart like that? If so, let me know down below. And also down below will be a link to these. This is the next day now. I haven't charged these since the last scene, and I have done 4 hours of Teams call and then 5 or 6 hours of playing music, and it's only gone down 30% from what it was. They are very nice. So if you would like your own pair of Tozo, any Tozo headphones really, they do many different styles. There will be a link down below. I thank Tozo for sending these over. Hopefully the audio for this very video will be fit to use. I don't actually know. We might have to break this again and redo the whole video, but we shall see. I'm sure it's going to be fine. My hair hitting the earbuds is probably causing more of a problem. But yeah, everything is fixed, and I will keep you updated on these every month as I use them and see how they work. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed, and I, or at least the headbuds, will see you soon. Bye bye.